Today with Claire Byrne on RTE Radio 1.
Now, holiday makers are being warned of a summer of chaos as a perfect storm continues with security delays, baggage handling problems, check-in delays and airline strikes. And this is right across Europe. Eoghan Corry is the editor of Air and Travel magazine and he joins us now. Good morning.
Good morning, Claire.
So talk us through the problems. How bad is it likely to get, Eoghan?
Chaos is probably a little bit strong term for it. But we do need a run of luck. We need things not to go wrong. The security queues that were well publicised in Dublin Airport are replicated right across Europe. Same problem. Airports, aviation and the services people who supply both airports and aviation, which are really important, all let a lot of staff go. They recruited for the return of travel in 2023. The return of travel was 4 or 5 percentage points ahead of what everybody expected, and the problems are all arising.
Yes, and you see, whether you call it chaos or not, if you're trying to get through an airport, either to leave Ireland or to come home, and you've got young children and your bags and your passports and there are delays everywhere, it'll be chaotic for you. There's just no other, there's no doubt about it, is there, Eoghan? It's going to be tricky.
Absolutely, and you said it, the passports, that's where it all starts. I mean, that situation still hasn't resolved. It's really come down to that issue of Garda clearances for newborn children. That's what the last of the big bugbears, and there's active engagement on that at the moment.
So what are you predicting then for July and August?
I'm predicting everybody turn up earlier for the airport. I do think that we will have unpredictable, I'm predicting the unpredictable, that where the problems arise, they tend to happen very quickly. They tend to escalate quickly. There's a couple of key airports that are problematic. Some of them are in Britain. Amsterdam has been problematic. Dublin has had its problems. Toronto has had its problems. But individual regional airports where, for instance, you wouldn't have a huge volume of throughput during the rest of the year and they have a big seasonal arrival, Faro, Malaga, places like that, things can go wrong very quickly.
People might be able to cope with delays. It's the cancellation, if you've been waiting for over 2 years for your holiday, that will really upset people. How likely are we to see that happening?
Irish Airlines have done very well. Ryanair, Aer Lingus kept the fleet in the air and they managed not to get caught with the same staffing problems that Dublin Airport did. British Airways cancelled a lot of their summer schedule. They just saw problems arising. EasyJet, which operates mainly out of Belfast, as far as we're concerned, from Irish point of view, has been cancelling hundreds of flights. And TUI, one of the tour operators, had run into a lot of cancellations trying to protect its Manchester base. The cancellations are happening, and there also is the strike threat, which is mainly targeted at Ryanair and EasyJet across 5 or 6 countries. And the main thing about the strike threat to remember is what Ryanair's policy has been to sign deals with the biggest pilot and cabin crew unions. It's been the second, third and fourth largest cabin crew unions that are issuing the strike threat. In one case, they only have 2% of the members of the Ryanair cabin crew in Portugal. Okay. So it's unlikely to impact heavily on this schedule. It might cancel 10 or 12 flights, but nothing more.
Just as we're talking, I see Sky News reporting that Heathrow has asked all airlines to take off 10% of their flights today. Just cancel them so that they can cope with the demand. And Qatar Airways are warning as well that there's going to be problems over the summer. What's happening in Dublin Airport right now, though, over the last few days, Eoghan?
Dublin has been coping well. We've run into a little bit of, long queues yesterday morning. This morning, Terminal 1 went to about 40, 50 minutes. Generally, security queues getting through in the hour. Flights being missed. Check-in, some sort of problems, still problems, particularly with flights taking off late. There are a couple of Lufthansa, Air France ones where connections are missed. Dublin coping, but very close to the edge. And the numbers game is good for from the security point of view because 30 extra people are arriving every week. Mm-hmm. That makes less likely. Heathrow, a huge problem. And baggage handling in Heathrow is a major problem, and that impacts on people transferring through Heathrow, arriving in Dublin, expecting their bag, for instance.
Okay, and is there a baggage problem in Dublin as well? I mean, we see on social media complaints about that and also about the cleanliness of the place.
Oh, Dublin is stretched stressed at every level, everybody saying how dirty it is, how the basic services aren't there, food services, long queues, and baggage. On an average, pre-COVID, baggage would get lost, maybe 40, 50 bags a day. It's up to about 300 a day. A lot of problems in Heathrow, some very spectacular images of Terminal 2 with bags piled everywhere. But something on a slightly smaller scale happening in Dublin. There's a lot of bags piled up on the sides as people come through. And as you say, Heathrow reached the stage now where they're asking airlines to curtail the services. And that is a big problem. We also have a problem with people showing up at airports finding they haven't been booked on long-haul airlines. And that's a very serious problem that will be plying its way through consumer courts in months to come. Okay,
so that's just an admin error, is it?
I think we've had a general breakdown in systems. The tech systems haven't. Tech systems were largely the fault of what's been happening with baggage in Heathrow. But where you have a tech fault, in previous years before COVID, there would always be lots of humans to intervene or enough humans to intervene. Yeah. What we're seeing is when tech breaks down, not enough humans to intervene to correct the problems.
Right. Okay, Eoghan, we'll leave it there. CNN, by the way, are just reporting that US airlines have cancelled yesterday over 900 flights. It's not even restricted to this continent. We did look for a spokesperson from the Dublin Airport Authority this morning. No one was available, but they say their recent measures introduced at Dublin Airport have worked well. They're still advising people to arrive 2.5 hours before a short-haul flight, 3.5 hours before a long-haul flight, and those checking in a bag are advised to allow for up to an additional hour, and they can check with their airline the various advice there. They said last week that it's keen to avoid cancelling flights as other airports have, and we hear at Heathrow there's a request today for airlines to cancel 10% of their flights. Eoghan, thank you very much for joining us.